the Den of the Djinn, and I am your host, your friendly neighborhood gamer Djinn Candor. And we're here, basically, uh, doing another walkabout. Guys, I'm going to be doing another walkabout tomorrow, and it is going to be a more extensive, to be honest, because I'm going to be heading out to a schnook. Don't ask. Anyway, so what I'm going to be doing tomorrow is I'm going to basically going to go out and have one of those days where it's just going to be a me day. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a me day. It's going to be me hanging out, doing whatever the fuck I want, doing anywhere I want, and basically checking out a few places, a few haunts that I feel like going into. So if you guys want to join me tomorrow. But anyway, on top of that, thank you for checking out my videos. Please love, like, and subscribe. And I say love because I'm bored. I don't know what's going on with my head. Again, subscribe, like, and all that. And tell me, how you doing, guys? How you doing? Today, we're actually going to be talking about something interesting. Have anybody ever had friends and or family that apparently did more harm in your life than good? And I do really mean this with all my heart. The toxic people in your life. And those traits are as followed. The people that basically make you feel like shit and try to build themselves up, or the ones that basically try to use you in any way, shape, or form. Poppin', I couldn't tell you. Anyway, that's my question, guys. Have you guys ever had any people in your life that did more harm than good, in the sense of the toxic people in your life? I actually had one. Actually, it was my. I'm gonna be honest, guys. It was one of the most toxic people I knew. Was my grandmother. Mind you, she was toxic in the sense that she was very wealthy, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if I've ever talked about her before, but she was exceedingly wealthy. Well, no, I'd say she's more moderately wealthy, I guess you could say. Well, she was. She doesn't live here anymore. She doesn't live anymore. And quite frankly, I'm kind of glad she's gone, because all she did was treat me like garbage, honestly. I'm actually the only reason I know she's gone, guys, and do me a favor if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that little bell icon to know when I'm putting out next video. And I keep having to say it because apparently some of you guys just don't get it. Sheesh. Anyway. So yeah, the only reason I knew about my grandmother's death, despite me never really having a conversation, let alone a relationship with her, and the reason why I consider her a toxic person in my life, was because every time we ever met, mind you, there was only a few times we've ever met, me and my grandmother, and that was way back when I was a little kid. I was really, really small. I'd say 3 or 4 years old the last time I spoke to her myself. And all our interactions were toxic. She hit me. She berated me for being a Mexican. Yes, folks. Apparently, I hated the fact that my father married a Mexican. And I was the stalk of said Mexican. Yeah, my grandmother was a racist. I don't know if it was just the fact that she was a racist, or the fact that she just hated my mom. It sucked, but whatever. Anyway, so that person died, right, guys? I was about, I'd say, in my early 20s. So about a little over 10, 15 years ago. Yes, folks, I am a little old. I'm 36. So, yeah, it would be closer to, 15 years ago, roughly. Hi, how's it going? Thank you very much for checking out my videos. Anyway, so long story short, I found out about how my grandmother died. From mind you, this is from my father's side of the family. Do I have any toxic relatives from my mother's side of the family? Yeah, unfortunately, I do. One of the worst ones is an uncle on my mom's side of the family. He was kind of a jerk. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I never really liked him, even as a kid. But I dealt with him because I loved my aunt. And I loved my aunt. My aunt was a sweetheart, and it sucked that after a certain point. Okay, long story short, guys. Sorry, I was talking about my grandmother first. My grandmother on my father's side, she died. She apparently, I found out only through one way, and apparently it was legal. Sent a package to all the heirs, and I was one of her heirs. And apparently there was some kind of liquidation of her assets, and I got a portion of it because I was technically one of her heirs. I was actually very surprised I was even named, even remotely. Either she just did not give two shits, or she did it on purpose. I don't know. I don't care. So literally, I got a portion of it. No, I'm not rich or anything of that nature. It only amounted to about a few $1,000. Honestly, guys, it was nice to have, but I didn't use it. My mom did. I gave it to my mom. I said, Mom, you said you're gonna need a few extra bucks to, get some revenue, fix up my grandmother's on her side, her mom. She wanted me to see if I can, spare a few bucks. I said, take the check. I don't care. I don't want it. At least it'll go to something useful, and it did. It paid for it paid for new walls, a little bit of sheetrock, new boiler, and yes, folks, and I used it for all that. Yes, I took some of it for myself, but I gave the rest to my mom. Honestly, guys, I was okay with doing that because my mom deserved a few bucks, and that money actually came in clutch. Now, we're going to talk about my aunt, guys. My aunt, let me put it this way. She was, I guess you could say she was a kind of an absent-minded lady. She wasn't a bad lady, I'm going to be honest, guys. I actually kind of love her, even to this day. She was one of my favorite aunts. When I was a kid, she had this, she had a candy store. It was kind of common back where my mom comes from. Yes, it was my mom's sister. Obviously, aunt. So basically, she had a cute little boutique, and a lot of the reason I'm saying is because it was kind of cute because the little store basically was coming out of her own house. Yes, folks, it was a store / house. It was funny because when I was a kid, growing up with that kind of thing, it's like, oh, cool. I had other friends that had that where part of their building was part store, part house. It was actually kind of funny because you walk in and you see stores like you can get your chips, your bing bongs or whatever. It was literally just walking into a 7-Eleven, whatever, right? In Mexico. Mind you, yes, I used to go every summer in Mexico, and that was one of the things I loved about it, was because it was just, for me, it was you know entering my roots, right? My mom's hometown, and in retrospect, it was kind of like my hometown in a way, because everybody knew us, you know. Well, the reason why I'm mentioning it now is since we're talking about toxic. Well, apparently, it wasn't just my uncle from her. It was also my other uncles. I got a couple of uncles that not exactly I'm not exactly on speaking terms, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly because they are always trying to steal money. They're always there was a point where my mom had to go to Mexico to stop one of my uncles from stealing the land. So yeah, we kind of are not on speaking terms on them. Hell, there was even a point where my brother actually got into a fight, and my uncle got into jail because he actually started fighting his nephew. Ladies and gentlemen, if that isn't the most Jerry Springer bullshit you've ever heard in your life, I heard about it and I'm laughing my ass off, going, "Please tell me my brother won." And my sister, bless her heart, she looks at me and goes, "Are you kidding me? You know, you're taller than all of our you're taller than most of our uncles." And I said, "Oh, yeah, most of them, yeah." She looks at me and goes, "Well, if you're taller than most of our uncles, and Renee's taller than you," and I said, okay, I got it. Yes, folks. Oops. That was a mistake. Sorry, guys. My button mashing button thumb thing. I'm having one of those days, guys. I just got off of a shift, and honestly, I'm surprised I'm standing right now, because I had to do everything. One of my co-workers decided to leave, so yeah. But anyway, long story short, yes, I was giving a big disposition about my family. Mind you, you guys don't think it was they're not all that toxic. There's probably worse. Oh, and there is. Don't get me wrong. There is worse people out there compared to the people I've mentioned. But honestly, guys, I know what it looks like when it comes to family being toxic, or just people that you just want to avoid like the plague. So, you know what you do with those kind of people? You avoid them like the plague. You never let them in your life, because they will bring you down, guys. Show them that they have no power over you. Anyway, thank you for checking my videos. Like, subscribe, and I hope you guys see you in the next video. Take care, be safe, and I hope you are not the person in question. Do not be toxic, be a good person. And how to be a good person? Well, there's guidelines. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is your friendly neighborhood gamer Djinn Candor, wishing you love, luck, happiness, and preferably a good life.